Hey guys, this week I'm going to talk about 4 different businesses that I've found that you can generate 7 figures with no employees. That's coming up next. I never knew this was back here. I am behind Walt Disney Concert Hall up here in LA. This is one of my favorite parts of LA because the Broad Museum, one of my favorite museums, right there, and then the MoCA Museum of Contemporary Art is right across the street. I love art and I love going to museums. This is one of the most beautiful museums in the world. It was actually in Iron Man #1. If you remember, Tony Stark was in front of this museum. That's where they did the big reveal of the Audi R8. Before we get started, I want to shout out and thank you to all the people who subscribed last week and left comments. I'm doing a giveaway from now until Christmas. Every week I'm going to pick at random somebody who left a comment and subscribed. You have to subscribe. I'm giving them a set of AirPods every week until Christmas. If I get over 60 comments, then I'll give away 2 that week. I will announce the winner of last week at the end of this video. There is this whole beautiful garden back here behind the hall of that movie scene. I had no clue it was here. This week I'd like to talk about 4 businesses that you can generate a 7-figure income with no employees. Here's the reason why. It's never been more important than right now. I really do believe we have already begun the recession. The last one was in 2008, but it really began in 2006 as far as where we are before the recession hits. This is like 2006, almost the first quarter of 2007. I really feel America's gonna be in trouble, and I'm not just talking about the middle class. I'm talking about people who are almost at that 1%. So if you guys remember back in 2007 or 2008, we were actually introduced to 2 of the most popular billionaires. No, I'm not talking about this guy, and I'm not talking about this guy either. I'm talking about Batman and Iron Man. The Dark Knight came out in 2007. Iron Man 1 came out in 2008. It has never been easier to become a millionaire than it is right now. Now, consequently, there's never been a time where we have been on the brink of world financial disaster more than right now as well. So the steps that you take from right now until the end of the year could be the most important steps that you take. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means not just middle class, I'm talking about doctors and lawyers. I know so many who are some of the most miserable people on the planet. And why is that? Even though they're making, 200, 300K, they're living like they're 1%ers. To be at the very bottom of the 1%, you need to make $440,000 a year. That's what it takes to be at the very bottom of the 1%. Now, if you look at football players, doctors, lawyers, most of them make less than that. The average NFL salary is $300K. But even though they're under that 1%, they live like they're 1%ers. For the rest of us, 57% of Americans would not be able to withstand an unexpected $500 bill. Just a $500 bill. That's the exact same circumstance that we were at in 2007, 2008. And we're back in that situation right now. It's never been more important for you to find a side hustle or a business that you don't have to trade time for money. Now, I'm drawing all of my examples from 2 books. The first one, which is really important, is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferris. This is a classic. Every business that I'm interested in uses principles found in this book. In 2015, according to the US Census Bureau, there were 35,800 and some, I don't know the exact number, I'll write it down here, that were 1-person businesses that generated a 7-figure plus income. The second book is by Elaine Pofeldt. She's a writer for Forbes magazine, and it's called The $1 Million One-Person Business. She's interviewed, I think, thousands of entrepreneurs that have started a one-person business that did not need any startup investment or capital. They were self-funded, and yet they were able to grow to a 7-figure income. Out of the 35,000 plus businesses, but they basically fall into 6 categories. I'm gonna focus on this channel on just 4 of those 6 categories. The reason I'm able to do that is because 8 years ago, I took a grand leap and I started my first business. I started it for less than $1,000. I only gave it about 4 hours a week. This was before I didn't even hear about this book at that time. I found a mentor, started a business, and I was able to walk away from a multiple 6-figure income in just 7.5 weeks. I have time freedom. I don't have to show up to a job. I haven't had a desk job or any job I had to report to in over 8 years now. This architecture is amazing. Wow, crazy. So these are the 4 businesses in order. The first business that I started was an e-commerce business. I'm helping my daughter start an e-commerce business centered around unicorns. I hope to release the first video about e-commerce centering around how Kylie Jenner built a $1 billion business with basically just her cell phone and Instagram. The second business I've already put out a bunch of content for. It's a manufacturing business. I'm helping the girl I'm dating start a manufacturing business for CBD. The third business that I've started is one of the easiest ones and probably one of the most profitable. It is a consulting business for energy, and I've helped my mom start that business. Maybe you see a pattern here already. So I'm helping other people that I love and care about start a business that can sustain them. If you love someone, you're going to not just tell them you love them, you're going to do something about it. If you know that a recession is coming, you're going to put a hedge of protection around them. Words are great, emotions are great, but finance controls all of that. I want to be someone who practices what I preach and really protects the people that I really love and care about. So the fourth type of business I have not started yet. It is a digital goods business. In other words, where you create the content or write something and then you sell it in digital form. That way there's literally no overhead. What I plan to do later this year is write a business autobiography. It's going to be about how to not be a rich asshole dad like my dad was. My dad was a self-made multi-millionaire, self-made man, but he spent no time with us. That's the same condition I feel a lot of my mentees find themselves in. You know, I've mentored doctors, I've mentored lawyers, plastic surgeons, I've mentored NFL players. They find themselves stuck in some form of linear income where they work, they get paid. If they don't work, they don't get paid. So those are the 4 businesses. I'm gonna go over all the details, how much they cost, how I built them, all on this channel. If you like what you see, throw a like down in the corner. I think it's this corner right here. Leave a comment as well. Every business costs money. I've carefully selected the businesses to be businesses that are realistic businesses that you can start from almost anywhere in the country, just as long as you have internet connection. There are also businesses that you do not need an angel investor like myself to invest any capital, so you can own 100% of that business. Okay, it's time now to announce the winner of last week's AirPod giveaway. But before we do that, I'm gonna go inside here and grab some lunch. There's a little cafe next to the Bro that I really like to go to. Hugo, what's the name of this beer?
The Nose Job IPA.
It's a local beer called Nose Job?
Correct.
That's so LA. Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna announce the name of the winner for this week's AirPod giveaway. This week's winner for the AirPod giveaway is Jade.is. Jade.is. So if this is you, Jade, go to my channel page and message me and I will send those out to you. So thanks you guys. I'm gonna be giving those away every single week. All you gotta do is subscribe and leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe though. So that's it. Thanks you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, bye.